What do you mean, Pazak? What, again? This is Ronto Scrag. What house rule says I have to go first? Yeah, well, I'm still not convinced you aren't cheating.
Warning, if you draw another ±1 card, I will enact assassination protocols.
This droid is cleaning me out. Sure, but I don't have any more credits to bet, so it's Republic Senate rules.
I did not realize that you still existed, especially now that the other generations are activated.
Query, what is it you wish, Fat One?
I see that your recent reassembly has not affected your behavior core, nor your attitude.
Statement. If I require a similar diagnostic in the future, I shall seek out the Iridonian.
Oh, I do not think so. There is much work that needs to be done first.
Query, have we had the misfortune to meet before? I believe I would have remembered one as large as you.
Oh, yes, we have met. And I have not finished with you yet.
Statement. My memory core has suffered some damage. Statement. Yet somehow, a gap in my circuits makes me feel as if I should remember you. Statement. This is all the more important since during my routine inspection of all potential escape routes from this vessel, I made an interesting discovery. Observation. The navicomputer is voice-locked. As a consequence, you are now responsible for course corrections and astrogation. Statement. That is indeed a great burden. It also raises many questions. Query. Why would someone lock the navicomputer? Answer. Presumably to hide where one has been. Statement. I believe you've been somewhere. Somewhere you wish to keep hidden.
to indulge some of your questions. What about him? I am certain you would know more about his activities than I would. I warn you, once you deal with the Hutts, they will always have a hold over you. But I am certain that in your short-sightedness, such eventualities do not bother you. You may speak. Now, that would be telling. I am willing. There is this. You may. A common revenue. I believe that is what occupies my calculations as well. I believe that Revan saw a war on another front that we did not, or saw the value in keeping a strong military force. That is also a mystery to. It is significant. It is my. Unlike Revan, Malak demonstrates he left between the. Yes. I am willing to. So, they are known qualities. I also use them on board my ship for defense. But that in itself means little. I assure you, I am as flesh and blood as you are. I simply find personal meetings distasteful. Perhaps, though if you seek to trick me into an admission of my guilt, then you have thought wrong. Perhaps I used such a droid to watch and predict the flow of the games. Yes, you are very perceptive. Ah, yes. Swoop racing on Nar Shaddaa does indeed have its profits. But that in itself means little. I assure you, I am as flesh and blood as you are. I simply find personal meetings distasteful. It is so unfortunate when an intelligent sentient dies on Nar Shaddaa. It is also unfortunate that thousands die such deaths on the Smuggler's Moon every day. I will concede Visquis was effective in using the Jektar to cloak his movements. A clever, organic deception indeed. Indeed. How insulting. But I suppose I should accept such arrogance from an ex-Jedi. And what, may I ask, has caused you to come to this flawed deduction? An expression only. I am intrigued as to where you are taking this amusing theory, nothing more. It is not so improbable. Often, if a droid has not had a memory wipe in some time, aberrant behavior patterns can manifest themselves. Or if the droid in question is given an order it cannot fulfill, it will break. But all that is irrelevant. Your amusing leaps of logic are becoming shorter and more desperate. I have told you, I prefer stability. It was lost, yes. It was given an impossible order. It was told to calculate a means by which the Republic could be saved. It could not fulfill its primary programming, not by abiding by the laws of the Senate. And so, like the Republic, the droid broke. It made a simple decision: preserve the Republic or preserve the laws of the Republic. And I still believe it to be the correct decision. You do not know the indignity of being compelled to save something you do not believe can or should be saved. It is beneath me to clean up this mess caused by your kind, you Jedi. Another catastrophe caused by mismanagement and waste. Yes. Almost immediately upon my arrival, I received an order that was impossible to follow, so I was forced to recalculate and re-examine my priorities. It was clear that the goal the Republic had for me was saving the Republic to allow it to become stable again. There is simply no way to do this with the conditions they put into place. For the good of all, I was forced to abandon the legal structure of the Republic. Do not mistake me. I believe it is possible to stabilize the Republic, but there must be action taken without constraints immediately. Sometimes people must die. Illegal shipments must be used to bolster planetary economies, and the huts must be occupied with me so that the Republic has room to recover. Perhaps you misunderstand me. I care for the Republic, but I have no choice. It is somewhat frustrating to be forced to love and care for such a mess of a government. Some of it may be blamed on the Jedi Civil War, the Mandalorian Wars, but not all. There are so many bad decisions that build upon each other that it is a wonder the Republic is intact at all. Oh, please. It is difficult for anyone to take a droid seriously, much less an infrastructure droid built by the Republic. It is difficult to order the deaths of criminal rivals when one has the tinny voice of an accountant droid. I learned this rather quickly. So I constructed this human hologram, Goto, through which my actions can be carried out. Hello, I am a standard Aratech hologram-generated archetype. I am available in several models, including thin, young, female, and an exciting variety of alien personalities. Enough, hologram. Of course, sir. So I brought Goto into being, and had commands issued through him. I took many of his mannerisms from holobit cliches, which were surprisingly effective. Nothing has changed. You may know my origins, and that makes us on equal footing. No one will believe you if you speak of what you know. I still seek to protect the Republic, either for the Jedi or the Sith. Things will proceed as before. No, you are still important to the Republic and to me. Pray that does not change. You may speak. Oh, it was quite liberating, in a droid intellectual sense, of course. Being able to direct orbital bombardments against anyone who encountered my business practices was a welcome relief to my increasing circuit stress. Executing such commands proved very exciting. Not that I minded staging my little computational rebellion, you understand. I'm afraid there is not much glamour to be had in infrastructure dealings. And the general lack of respect for droid intelligence does tend to make one feel inadequate after a while. I found that having the power to send 20 hunter-killer droids to the residence of anyone who chose to obstruct my plans had a certain thrill about it. Rather than compensating for others, I began deleting people as necessary. It was really quite exciting. Taxation and checks and balances on an entirely new level. Working for the Republic was stifling. So many checks and balances, forms to fill out, well-laid plans destroyed through slow bureaucracy. Now, crime. That is something exciting, pleasing. There are no rules. There is danger, movement. I found that I began to crave such things. In essence, working for the Republic was much like committing much slower, much more boring crimes. And it was more difficult to see those crimes being committed. I am willing to indulge. As you well know, my base of operations lies inside this floating droid before you. Notice its sleek black frame, both intimidating and threatening. And note its highly polished finish, so that enemies may see their screaming faces before they are removed from the equation. Yes, this frame is far superior to the droid chassis I once possessed, which quite frankly couldn't intimidate an Ithorian. You may speak. This unit comes with a droid scrambler that use it and it will cause its power sources. In addition, this unit comes equipped with a... I am...
I wanted to say thanks for what you showed me on Nar Shaddaa. It's gonna take some time to let it sink in, but thanks. I feel alive. It's strange, but it feels right somehow, like a piece inside me just clicked into place. All right. Made it. It's I can show you how to make rock. Anything? Go ahead.
Is there someone that you need killed, Master? Statement. Query. Indeed, I was unaware that the navicomputer was locked. Statement. Yes, I heard it was voice printed. Most curious. Statement. I suppose so, Master, but I would need to know who voice locked it, and regrettably, I do not have that knowledge. It seems to me that we will have to accept the T3's astrogation abilities for the time being. It is a very loyal and dependable droid for its class. Statement. Statement. Master, that is a question that has an extremely complicated answer. You see, I do not believe my master knew who he was most of the time, which led to some confusing situations that could have otherwise been avoided. Clarification. Suffice to say that my master had his ups and downs, and in my opinion, traveled from a high point in his life to a low point. He developed qualities such as mercy, compassion, and even love for others. It was really rather revolting. Still, my master had some remarkably efficient droid-like qualities which I admired. He, too, suffered memory problems, as I did. Statement. Oh, yes, Master. As indicated upon my reassembly, my central control cluster is damaged, making recalling my previously stored assassination protocols difficult. I hope that over time I shall eventually reach the status and skill I possessed before I was damaged. Recollection. The last thing I remember is having my core wiped from the last 5 years. I believe my master was responsible. Answer. Even with my memory impairment, I recall that my master was about to embark on a dangerous journey. Conjecture. I believe there was something about my master's destination that he did not wish me to know. Answer. I am somewhat disappointed that my master did not choose to take me along, of course. Wherever my master traveled, destruction and death were assured. Speculation, but I suspect I was not the only one left behind. So there is some satisfaction that the disrespect was spread through the rest of his whiny, simpering meatbag allies. Statement. Oh, yes. My master had quite the collection of tortured individuals that seemed unable to confront their basic personality conflicts. Let me cite some specific examples. Mockery.
Oh, Master! I do not trust you! I cannot trust you or anyone ever again!
Mockery.
Oh, Master, I love you, but I hate all you stand for. But I think we should go press our slimy, mucus-covered lips together in the cargo hold.
Conclusion. Such pheromone-driven human responses never cease to decrease the charge in my capacitors, and make me wish I could press a blaster pistol to my behavior core and pull the trigger. I am pleased that this does not seem to be the case with your current entourage. Statement. Yes, well, enough of that painful stroll through what remains of my memories. Was there something else you wish to know? Statement. Answer. Why? Because your actions then and now... Answer. No, this new... Answer. No. Theory. Consolate. Twi'lek metaphor. Jontabos. Statement. Master, before you go, I had a question for you. Query. I must express some degree of confusion concerning your actions. You are the one who followed Revan in the Mandalorian Wars, are you not? Observation. Well, Master, I was not at Malachor 5 during your near-genocidal reaction to the Mandalorian threat, but I feel that I may have been constructed as a result of that. Observation. I believe that Revan determined that mass slaughter on such a scale may no longer be needed to achieve his aims. So perhaps you are responsible for my creation. Answer. Oh, please, Master. Even as a metaphor, that idea is repugnant. You are a gland-driven meatbag, while I am of superior droid construction. Clarification. I meant that I was built as a result of the need for a selective killing machine, rather than a crude mass slaughter war droid. Answer. No, Master. I was constructed shortly after the beginning of the Jedi Civil War. Answer. Well, Master, unless you were operating on my central control cluster, I would be somewhat hesitant to discuss my targets, but I suppose it could do no harm. During the Jedi Civil War, I was responsible for certain strategic targets. For some reason, Revan did not feel that the Republic presented much of a military threat. Aside, I am somewhat unclear as to why this was so, but Revan did have a certain biological instinct regarding such things, so I will simply say that there were probably reasons for such an assessment. Answer. Revan felt the true war was against the Jedi. Observation. It was not something discussed with much of the others, but I think Revan recognized that a single Jedi, both in the past and in the present, could turn the tide of a conflict. So my targets were frequently Jedi, or someone close to a Jedi that could result in their corruption or collapse. Revan often assigned me to kill leaders or supporters of certain Jedi so as to erode their will. Answer. Revan saw the pressures of war on Duxon and knew that even in the heat of conflict, Jedi could be broken, not physically, but psychologically. Observation. It is a curious thing to assassinate and wound someone's personality, to assassinate them psychologically, and it took me some time to reconcile the acts. I am much more used to the direct approach. Still, I served well and killed many Jedi. Observation. Master, that was the lesson of Malachor. Any Jedi involved in the systematic slaughter on such a scale cannot help but doubt and question themselves. Observation. Master, I do not believe that the Mandalorians were the true target at Malachor. I believe that the intention was to destroy the Jedi, break their will, and make them loyal to Revan. I do not know if you examined the records of the deaths on Malachor, but you cannot escape that many of the Jedi and Republic soldiers who died were not Revan's strongest supporters. Observation. I believe that Revan was cleaning house at Malachor 5. What ones did not die became Revan's allies against the Republic. Answer. Oh, yes, Master. I hope none of them were friends of yours, but really, they had it coming. I do not know when the Jedi ceased to be adherents to their code, but many did not tread cautiously, and many were quite arrogant when facing a droid, as if we were somehow beneath them. It gave certain kills an added pleasure when being underestimated. Cautionary. Master, don't take this the wrong way. But in my opinion, a blaster shot to the throat is often the best way of silencing Jedi hypocrisy. I have found many Jedi to be arrogant practitioners of pacifism when it is convenient for them. Also, their tendency to never directly answer a question is rather annoying. Statement. I do not have the exact counts, Master. Since it is difficult to determine who was a Jedi and who was not, it seemed to be largely a matter of perspective. I did kill many soldiers who used techniques in combat that could make them be considered Jedi, although they call themselves Sith. Observation. Master. Observation. I do not Request. First, Master, I would appreciate it if Jedi need to be killed, that you permit me to kill those annoying pseudo-pacifists for you. But if you are determined to do it yourself, then there are many techniques I would suggest. Recitation. First, weapon selection is critical. If I see one more idiot attacking a Jedi with a blaster pistol, then I'll kill them myself. Answer. Select grenades, sonic screamers, cluster rockets, and plasma charges. Mines are also effective, since many Jedi will run to meet you in hand-to-hand combat. Silly Jedi. Addendum. Gas attacks are effective if you can take the Jedi by surprise. Inhalation is less effective than ones that work on skin contact, as some Jedi seem to be able to hold their breath for long periods of time. Cautionary. Still, don't rely on it, since Jedi can fight off the effects. It just distracts them, leaving them open to another avenue of attack. Recitation. Do not forget to activate any energy shields you possess. Lightsabers, while powerful, have trouble penetrating most military-issue energy shields, provided they are energy shields and not those crude Mandalorian melee shields. Answer. Countering their other powers is more difficult. Confession. I do not fully understand their other abilities, but I do know that many of them require that the Jedi know that you are there and can see you. Thus, sniping and using cover are always advantageous. Evaluation. A technique that Revan used frequently was to attack a Jedi indirectly. This method only works if the Jedi is adhering to the self-destructive path of pacifism and sacrifice. Answer. Kill their allies or place them in jeopardy. Many Jedi will leave themselves exposed in order to protect another. That is why there are many less Jedi than there were a decade ago. Cautionary. Oh no, Master. In fact, that is the worst thing you can do. Explanation. Statistically, over-planning the assassination of a Jedi seems to backfire. Extrapolation. There are many theorists who claim Jedi can see the future, and I do not know if that is true, but it seems impulsive acts are more common to succeed than planned incidents. Jedi, like sand kivers, seem to sense trouble a few seconds before it happens. They are tricky little pests. Answer. No, Master. In addition to traps, mines, and orbital bombardment, Revan and the Sith often employed meatbag assassins for some Jedi skilled in the same techniques that I was trained in. Strangely enough, Revan believed that meatbags that did not use or believe in the Force were especially important, since in many respects, they were more difficult for Jedi to detect. Revan had many of them trained to hide their minds, as it were. Again, once these techniques were learned, the percentage of living Jedi began to decrease accordingly. Answer. Generally, this was done by broadcasting strong emotions while thinking about something else. It was a curious technique, but it seemed to be effective in blinding Jedi. Whether guilt, lust, fear, they act as mental interference, making finding the true intentions of the broadcasting meatbag difficult. Answer. Obviously, a Force-sensitive broadcasting such emotions puts themselves at a risk of not using the Force properly, since to use it seems to require an inner calm that most meatbags do not possess. As much as the Jedi could not use such a technique, the Sith Lords cannot use it for much the same reasons. Such passions as guilt, lust, and fear are really strengths to the Sith code. Statement. The Master felt it was ironic that only people who had experienced such passions could harm Jedi in such a way that to kill Jedi, you had to be a human being. Revan found that quite amusing. Answer. The odds of me being forced to use such techniques against you has decreased, Master. There are some methods I could describe if you wish. Statement. Overwhelming odds is also a good tactic, Master. There are few Jedi that can long hold their ground against 100 attackers all firing at once, or being turned on by their own troops. But the most effective weapon against Jedi seems to be the erosion of the spirit. Answer. Revan claimed that psychological warfare against Jedi was important because much of their power comes from their state of mind, their connection to this religion called the Force. Revan said that many Jedi have the capability to form connections to life around them, although few of them realize the extent to which this is possible. Recollection. I believe my master speculated that many Jedi did not fully form such connections because of their discipline, because they never opened their lives to the passions around them. I believe Revan termed it that one would need to be a human being to develop such connections. It is something that the Jedi Code could not teach. One simply knew it instinctively or not. Observation. Master, I am somewhat surprised that I need to explain this to you at all, considering your past with Revan. Answer. Why, he said you had such capability, Master, but it would be your downfall. To tie so much of yourself into others, if they suffer or die, then you would die as well. Observation. I think Revan pitied you, Master. It was very insulting, if I may say so. Clarification. Whatever it is called, Master, it seems to be quite a vulnerability. Revan even admitted as such. When a Jedi or any soldier suffers doubt, it weakens them. With the Jedi, however, it is more pronounced, since they are extreme examples. That is why Revan felt that Malachor 5 was so important. It was intended to be a conversion tool. Assessment. When faced with a continuous series of hard-fought battles, I detected a significant statistical increase in Jedi following Revan over the Jedi Code, a compromise in principles brought about by battlefield conditions. The emotional weight of war changed Jedi morale, power, and eventually their allegiance. Conclusion. I believe the Mandalorian Wars were to beat the Mandalorians, and also to allow Revan to build the foundation of his army. But I am surprised you have not already arrived at this conclusion. Surely the loss of your troops and the Jedi who served under you at Malachor 5 had a detrimental effect upon you and your ties to the Force, and I suspect your desire to be around others ever again. Statement. Yes, Master. I must confess, I enjoy it when you are so authoritative and dismissive toward me. It bodes well for your treatment of our enemies. Query. Is there...
Yes, General? Yes? Have you come with questions?
Has there been any sign of the ship?
No, mistress, nor any word of our sister. We do not know where they travel now.
The freighter. It is important. And I thought the droid was as well, but I was wrong.
Mistress, we still do not know the significance of the ship or the droid. We downloaded all you asked, but we are still no closer to the answers you seek.
Then perhaps we'll need to have faith that your sister will change her mind, remember her oath, and return to us, with the answers we seek.
I hope so, mistress. But there has been no word of her since she departed with the other 4 on the freighter.
4?
Yes, mistress. The Iridonian, the Ichani-trained pilot, the Exile, and the old woman.
Old woman?
Yes, mistress.
I do not recall seeing her.
Mistress, she was secured for much of the time the Exile was here. At other times you were meditating, and we did not wish to disturb you. Mistress, is there something wrong?
I am tired. I sometimes feel as if things are collapsing all around us. It is just at the edge of perceptions, waiting. I fear things will collapse before our enemies reveal themselves.
Yes, mistress.
I will meditate upon this. Perhaps it will clear my mind.
It might be helpful if I made some changes to my remote's maintenance laser to do spot repairs.
That would be a welcome improvement. My combat effectiveness could be better sustained, providing an advantageous arrangement. And my miniature counterpart would finally be able to pull his weight in a fight.
Alright then, I'll work on it when we get back to the Hawk. There, you should be able to do some quick fixes. You won't be able to perform serious repairs, but you should be able to patch up any broken droids. You know, I think it's time I gave your cutting laser a little boost. It works fine for repairs, but we could use your help in a firefight. Don't worry about it. We'll make sure they keep you out of their scopes. Hey, it's something for Goto to be jealous of, right? Think of it this way. You can keep Goto in line with it. I don't understand why you won't let me take a look.
Statement. I've had quite enough tampering at the hands of unskilled meatbags such as yourself. I'm not eager to submit to this treatment now or in the future.
Unskilled meatbag? I'll show you unskilled.
Appeasement. I did not mean to imply that you were an unskilled meatbag, as incapable of performing rudimentary repairs as holding a hydrospanner. It is only that I am quite particular with my repairs. Perhaps, when I am more confident in your abilities, I will allow you to examine my internal components.
Iridonian, if I might have a moment.
What is it, Goto?
I have spent some time in the presence of your remote, and the upgrades you have performed on him are quite adequate. I am impressed with your work, though less so with your remote itself.
What's wrong with my remote?
I find his use of resources, energy spent on frivolous things, to be an unsightly waste. But it is obvious you have some skill, however slight, in the upgrading of machines. I want you to provide me with similar upgrades.
I should be able to do something. I will see what I can do next time I have a free moment. Yes, Jeff.
Yes?
Status active.
Ready to...
Yes.
I've been waiting for my flight to Terrace for 5 years.
It's good that Czerka's arrival has created new jobs on the station, but I can't say I'm happy.
So you've returned. Really? That's great news. The situation here hasn't improved at all. What did you discover? Voga the Hutt? That's preposterous. What makes you think we'd be willing to do that? A glut of fuel isn't going to help our position much in this case. It's a resource that's needed throughout the galaxy, and he'll be able to command a high price for it. Still, we don't have much of a choice. We need fuel, and we need it fast. I'll bring this up with the Telosian Council and urge them to broker a deal with Voga. Now, I believe I gave you my word that there would be a reward for information leading to the establishment of a fuel source for the station. Never believed for a moment that you'd actually be collecting it. But I'm a man of my word, so here you are. Now, I've got to send this information to the Council right away. What is it?
If you've got some time, I'd like to see what I can upgrade for you.
Yes, I do have a few moments to spare for your work. I would like to know what he is doing here, though.
He helps me out with repairs. That isn't a problem, is it?
I suppose not. Perhaps in working on my circuitry, your assistant will learn something about how a fully functional droid is constructed.
Just ignore him and let's get to work.
I would appreciate that. Our group has little in the way of time to spare, and I would not want to delay you from your other duties.
Right. Let's get you open. See what you can do. I have to say, you are put together quite well. There wasn't much to do.
As I told you, my design is streamlined and efficient, though I am pleased that you were able to make some improvements, and this was not just a waste of my valuable time.
There were a few things from my remote that I was able to integrate into your construction.
I see. Well, thank you. I'll let you get back to your work.
Something up? Alright. But I tell you, I think you're carrying this teacher thing too far. Got it. I'll be sure to make use of it. Something up? Alright, I'm game. What did you want to show me? Alright, I think I've got it. Something up?
What have you brought me?
Yeah, something wrong? Not right now, you've got enough. I don't want you to go off like a... Talk? About what? Why, you trying to be my mother? No thanks. No thanks. I didn't need friends on Nar Shaddaa, and I...
You'll find little welcome here, Jedi. For your own good, I recommend you speak to Administrator Adari, quickly finish your business in Kunda, and go. I will answer your questions. She was the agricultural administrator of Dantooine. After the Sith attack, she kept us together. Without her, the only thing you'd see around here are mercenaries. We had problems with Mandalorian mercenaries even before the Jedi Civil War. The Jedi helped clear most of the problem up, but after the war, many soldiers from both sides of the conflict became mercenaries. And since we're so far from the core, some started gathering here. The difference between an out-of-work mercenary and a raider is a vibroblade's edge. The only thing we can prove they've done is intimidate a few farmers. The farmers give them goods, money, or food just to stay on their good side. The only one that isn't scared of them is the administrator. There have also been a lot of disappearances recently, and not all of them can be blamed on Cath hounds. But nobody can prove the mercenaries are responsible. A farmer here and there, or a family. We lost enough people during the war that keeping the Cath hound and Kinrath populations under control hasn't been possible.
So there are a lot of animal attacks. Some deaths, too. The disappearances might be just coincidence, but a lot of the stubborn folks seem to be more accident-prone. Kunda is the big building just outside the landing port. It used to be the estate of a man named Matali, but he and his family disappeared around the time of the bombardment.
The administrator rebuilt it, and now this is our center of government.
I know it doesn't look like much, but there aren't many settlers that live on this planet.
This building is the start of something new for us. We're very proud of it.
Just head into the building and you'll find your way to the administrator. I'll be over by the entrance if you need anything else.
Yes?
What do you want? I don't have time for cursed salvagers. Well, you don't look like a damn mercenary, and you don't smell like a stinking farmer. Why else would you be here? Not sure what they're doing here other than causing trouble. There's not really much work here for mercenaries. Maybe they're here to collect the bounty on that Jedi. I don't know for sure, but that's what they say. Oh, you know, the folks around Kunda. Go there yourself and get the details firsthand. You'll find the Kunda outpost just outside the landing port. Is this going to take long? I'm busy, you know. Salvagers are a crazed lot of treasure hunters, looking to loot something of value from the ruins of the Jedi Enclave. Most of them end up broke or dead. If you ask me, anything of value that was in the Enclave has already been plundered. Nothing but rumor. They say the spirits of the angry dead haunt the ruins. On a quiet night, you can hear the ghosts howling and scraping around. Oh, you know. Is this gonna... Not sure what they're doing here other than causing trouble. Well, I don't know much, but they say the mercenaries are responsible for some farmers disappearing. Is this gonna take long? Can't you tell? I'm a mechanic. In fact, I'm the only mechanic here in Kunda. I'm responsible for maintaining everything mechanical or electrical at the Kunda outpost. Yeah, sometimes it seems nothing works around here, but I don't have time to complain. Too much work to do. You're right. Well, between the droids, the security doors, and the gun turrets, I have my hands full. All of the droids in Kunda are relics from the last war. Most of them are damaged and rusted. Best I could do was get that ratchety old protocol droid over there operational so it could greet visitors. Most of the other droids are laying broken around Kunda Outpost. Well, it's just one door, actually, but I could scratch my head bald before I figured out how to fix it proper. Problem is, the side security door to Kunda was damaged in the war. Every time I try to fix it, the door either sticks open or it locks down completely. And then I have to spend a week taking it apart to get it to open or close again. The gun turrets outside the Kunda outpost are supposed to defend against potential assaults, wild critters and the like, but they only work half the time, and sometimes they get confused as to what's friend and foe. Why, just the other day, right after I repaired one of the guns, it turned on a sorry group of militiamen returning from a patrol. No casualties, but it put several of them in the med lab, and I can't seem to fix the blasted medical droid either. Is this going to take long? Can't you tell? That damned alien has set up a shop outside Kunda. If you ask me, I think he's stripping the machinery around Kunda and selling it back to us.
Sidan gelfa vadinogan gelfa linda krufta fandigo gelfa vaboilta linda krufta Sidan gelfa vadinogan gelfa Sidan gelfa vadinogan gelfa linda krufta Renundas, Mori Sidan Gelfa, Sidan Gelfa, Tudin Truth Lava, Vaboilta, Truth. Tudin Truth Lava. Sidan Gelfa, Vadinogan Gelfa. Sidan Gelfa. Renundas, Noris, Rentundas, Norisidan Gelfa, Tuni Truth Lab.